In 1976, the Green Bay Packers won 5 games while losing 9. But throughout the season, the Packers displayed an intense competitive nature, a fierce pride in steady improvement and growth. Unfortunately, the season got off on the wrong foot with 3 straight losses, as defeat came at the hands of gnawing mistakes in execution. As disappointing as this beginning was, the team refused to let the season turn into a disaster. Instead, they pulled together and gave the fans a glimpse of things to come in what promises to be a bright future for the Green Bay Packers. In the season's 4th week, the Packers were home against the strong Detroit Lions, and a win was crucial to the cause of team morale and spirit. Steve Odom helped that cause when he took the opening kickoff and rocketed it 88 yards. Odom's near score was converted to 7 points when signal caller Lynn Dickey took the snap, rolled left, and hit reserve tight end Bert Askson in the end zone. Although he was dressed in a Lions uniform, Detroit quarterback Greg Landry spent much of the day draped in green and gold as the Packers' front 4 registered 8 sacks. While the defense celebrated its success, the offense plowed downfield on the strength of crisp, powerful blocking by the likes of superb rookie tackle Mark Concar, veterans Dick Hine, Larry McCarron, Gail Gillingham, and Bruce Van Dyke. One Detroit linebacker stated that the Packers' backfield blocking was the best he had seen in some time. This play by running back Barty Smith shows why. The double block by Smith sent Willard Harrell, number 40, scampering for 56 yards on one of the many big plays the Packers broke in 1976. Another successful weapon in the Packer arsenal was the Steve Odom end-around, which inevitably resulted in good scoring position. But what did the Lions in was this pitch out and pass from Harrell to Odom, which sealed Green Bay's first victory 24-14. Throughout the season, the Packers were a team with many surprises for the opponent. They were unpredictable, daring and innovative, and used unusual plays to great advantage. Often the special teams executed the unexpected, but when it came to hitting, the special units did all that was expected and more, limiting opponents to the fewest punt return yards in the NFL for the 2nd straight year. Sophomore safety Johnny Gray led the team in punt returns as he proved to be the man of many moves. Rookie Mike C. McCoy led the way in kickoff returns, averaging over 25 yards on runbacks that also held some surprises. Chester Marco, returning from a year of injury, led the team in scoring with 54 points as he hit on 10 of 19 field goal attempts. Following the win over the Lions, the Seattle Seahawks came east, and again the Packers' front four was devastating. On offense, running back Eric Torkelson, number 26, was a one-man armada with his power running and reliable receiving. Lynn Dickey was on target as he speared Steve Odom, who galloped 66 yards to another Green Bay big play touchdown. Throughout the bright afternoon, Lynn Dickey drove the Packers unerringly over the Seahawk defenders. The capper to Green Bay's second straight victory was scored by Barty Smith, number 33, who celebrated the 27-20 win with a spike that symbolized a growing team unity and confidence. In the season's sixth week, Bart Starr and the Packers hosted the Philadelphia Eagles and their new coach, Dick Vermeil, on a sunny day that would prove auspicious for at least one Packer. A 44-yard pass to Ken Payne resulted in the wide receiver's first score in 3 years as a professional. But the long bomb was not limited to Payne, as Dickey arched a pass to Willard Harrell, which was good for 69 yards and another touchdown. Diversification and pinpoint execution were the Packers' watchwords of the day as they rumbled relentlessly over the outclassed Eagles. The Green Bay offense racked up 28 points, while the defense was more than a match for the Eagles' attack force, holding the Birds to 13 points. Throughout the three-game win streak, the Packer front wall had played extremely well and was in top form against Philadelphia. They continued to improve and excel throughout the season. Left end was Clarence Big Cat Williams, number 83. Left tackle was massive Mike P. McCoy, number 76. Right tackle was the flamboyant Dave Roller, number 74. And right end was hustling Alden Roche, number 87. In 1976, the Packer pass rush sacked opposing quarterbacks 43 times, up 11 from 1975. Averaging 260 pounds per man, the Packers were among the most physically strong front lines in pro football. But while size usually means a sacrifice of quickness, this was not true of Green Bay, in either the case of Clarence Williams or 270-pound Mike P. McCoy, who fired off the snap of the ball and often tracked plays down before they started. Number 74, Dave Roller, often fought the double team and was persistent in nailing his man. In his 7th season, Alden Roche continued to excel, more by all-out desire and consistency than by natural talent alone. Dave Purifoy, number 75, alternated with Dave Roller at tackle. Purifoy is quick and strong and can bench press 450 pounds, or two large running backs, whichever is handier. The middle defenders were led by number 53, Fred Carr, an outside linebacker who did it all, tackling, blocking 4 kicks, and returning an interception for a touchdown against the Saints. In the middle, number 58, Don Hanson, was a hitter whose leadership solidified the Packer defense following the loss of Jim Carter in preseason. Left linebacker Gary Weaver led the Packers in tackles in 1976. His 4th year was his best so far. Coach Dick LeBeau's defensive backfield, led by number 28, Willie Buchanan, and number 45, Perry Smith, was ranked 4th in the NFC in pass defense. These two veterans were joined by sophomores Steve Luke, number 46, and Johnny Gray, number 24. Packer defenders came up with 11 interceptions over the course of the season, and with regard to their overall youth, can be expected to improve their pass harassing techniques for years to come. In Green Bay, the concept of defense is team defense, as taught by assistant head coach Dave Hanna. When the deep men are doing their job, there's nowhere for the opposing quarterback to go but down. And when the rush is overwhelming, the deep backs clean up on forced errors. In 76, the Green Bay defense was good. In 77, they hope to perfect their theme of aggressiveness and concentration. Coming off 3 straight wins, the Packers traveled to Oakland to battle the eventual world champion Raiders. It was here that the Packers played perhaps their finest game of the season. Time after time, the Green Bay defense dropped the curtain on the Raiders' runners and quarterback. Throughout the long, tense afternoon, the two teams battled to a standstill in which one play, one break, could decide the outcome. The Packer offense moved to one score on the flying feet of Willard Harrell. A Lynn Dickey big bomb hooked up with Ken Payne, good for another Green Bay touchdown. But as in most of their losses, the Packers' destiny was decided by a matter of inches, a split second in time. Throughout the season, and until his injury, quarterback Lynn Dickey was an outstanding performer and leader. As each game passed, the trade that brought him to Green Bay looked better and better. Back up to Dickey was Carlos Brown, number 19, who filled in well while facing the league's fiercest competition with only limited experience. Tight end Rich McGeorge was the team's second leading receiver in 1976, catching 24 passes while continuing to be an aggressive blocker. In 1976, number 84, Steve Odom, was a bona fide deep threat who averaged over 20 yards per catch. Number 85, Ken Payne, was the other long threat, and he led the Packers in receptions while averaging over 15 yards per catch. But while Payne and Odom were certainly a challenge to the enemy, they may be facing a challenge themselves in wide receiver Ollie Smith, number 89. Ollie came on strong and was a starter at the end of '76. He'll be looking for that starting position again in '77, as will Gerald Tinker, who will be back following a year lost to injury. Running back John Brockington, number 42, did not have one of his better years, but he seemed to be returning to top form as the season wound down. The power and potential as both pass catcher and runner are still prominent. Figuring big in next year's plans is Barty Smith, number 33, whose crunching, running, and blocking was sorely missed when he was injured for part of the '76 season. Number 26, Eric Torkelson, developed into a hard-nosed runner whose effort was all out every time he touched the ball. The Packers' leading runner in 1976 was Willard Harrell, a second-year man from the University of the Pacific. Harrell's style is aggressive, yet fluid with excellent lateral movement. Like so many on the Packers squad, Willard Harrell is young and talented, and his best years lie just ahead. At season's end in Atlanta, in a game where there could have been little incentive to win, the Green Bay Packers proved themselves to be a proud team. Behind number 16, Randy Johnson, who was acquired near season's end for the waiver price of $100, the Packers looked as though they would dominate the game. Johnson was superb, passing accurately and confidently. Knocking at touchdown's door, Johnson dropped back, found no one open, and so barreled in for the score himself. But the Falcons came back and slashed to a 20-10 lead. It was a wet, miserable game of little import, a time when most teams would just play out the clock. But for some reason, call it pride, the Packers wanted to win, and so they went after it. Eric Torkelson's flyover gave Green Bay a 24-20 victory, a victory that was perhaps important only because it showed a self-respecting team that cared. Perhaps caring was what made the difference in one of the Packers' most exciting games of the year against the Saints in Milwaukee. It was Green Bay's best scoring day of the season, as behind Lynn Dickey they rolled for 32 points. The contest was a seesaw battle, but the Packers kept the pressure on until the Saints broke. Then it was green and gold offense and defense making the big play, forcing the breaks and capitalizing on them. Games like this one against the Saints proved that for Green Bay, a core of talent is there. And with greater aggressiveness, so will be the sought-after victories. Games like the ones against the Falcons and Raiders show that team character is also there. As Coach Bart Starr stated at season's end, the record of 5 wins and 9 losses, while disappointing, was not discouraging. Discouraged means down and out, while disappointed means that all concerned felt the Packers could have won more often. And so the confidence and belief in the Packers' future is there. It shouldn't be too long before there is glory shining on the green and gold horizon.